Okay, end of the day in Perth. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm flagging. The jet lag is real. But the team news is out. Argentina and the British and Irish Lions have named their teams for the game in Dublin on Friday. So that's what we're talking about in this video. I'll go through the Lions team in detail and then go through and pick out some bits to do with the Argentinian team. You can have your say in the comments section. Let me know your views, particularly on the Lions team, I suppose. If you want to chat about the Argentinians, if there's something in particular there that interests you, then obviously stick it in the comments. But in particular, the Lions, the first 23 selected by Andy Farrell. We know that players haven't been available because they've been with their clubs and various bits and bobs. But even so, what are your first impressions? Also, like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single thing from out here in Australia. Okay, so this is the Lions team. The first thing that stuck out to me was that it's players that were able to train in Portugal. On the whole, like Tadhg Furlong is there, which is really interesting, which we'll get onto. But on the whole, it is players that have been there in Portugal, that have been training, that have been a part of the squad, and therefore obviously presumably have more of an idea of what the Lions are trying to achieve, of what Andy Farrell wants from them. So from that point of view, I think it makes an awful lot of sense. But there's some really interesting bits in there. So let's start off. I'll tell you what, we'll start with the front row. Ellis, Genge, Luke Cowan-Dickie and Finlay Bealham. What a couple of weeks for Finlay Bealham, isn't it? From not being a part of the squad originally, to then being selected, to now starting in the first game against Argentina. Happens every Lions tour, doesn't it? Players come in, players drop out, but he starts. I think actually, in terms of the bench, the thing that is most intriguing is Tadhg Furlong, who hasn't played. He's been injured, missed Leinster's fixtures, but he comes in here, and providing he is okay, that is a massive boost on the tight head side for the Lions, because with Bealham being called up, with Zander Fagerson dropping out, with Furlong having question marks over his fitness, it was kind of looking like, well, Will Stewart is the only guy at the moment that you think is nailed on to start the test matches. But if Furlong is making his way back, we'll see what he's like, we'll see how much time they give him, but I think that's a pretty important development. And then Genge, Cowan-Dickie, Bealham, they're the ones that get the opportunity from the off on the weekend. Ronan, Kelleher, Pierre Schoom, an opportunity to come off the bench along with Furlong and make a real impact. In the second row, we always knew Maro Itoje was going to start as the captain. Tadhg Beirne partners him in the second row. So Scott Cummings is there on the bench. The interesting thing for me with the Lions, and the second row in particular, is what are they going to do? Who are they going to partner Maro Itoje with? Do you go for a Scott Cummings or a Joe McCarthy and a bigger second row alongside him? I guess a more traditional tight head side second row. Or do you go for Tadhg Beirne and then that frees up the options of what you can do in your back row? Because we know that Tadhg Beirne could play six and would do an unbelievable job at six. But given the amount of great sevens they have, I think Tadhg Beirne has to start. So do you start him and Itoje together, and then it frees up your options in the back row? And actually, I think a good reason to do that here against Argentina is the Argentinian pack is arguably, what's the right word? I was going to say tougher, but that's probably too disrespectful to some of the Australian teams. It's possibly going to be a heavier pack than perhaps what they're going to face in the warm-up games. So you test it here to see how they might be able to go up against the Wallabies. Or it's just a case of they've been available, so they select them. But I think Tadhg Beirne in the second row is interesting, and whether he's going to stay there throughout the tour is interesting. Into the back row, we always knew there were going to be bags of options here. How's Tom Curry, Jack Morgan, Ben Earl? It's pretty awesome, isn't it? I mean, you even look at the bench. You've got Henry Pollock there as an option in the back row. That's where Henry Pollock and Ben Earl actually are both so valuable, because they can cover multiple positions across that back. Like, you can put them anywhere across that back row, really, and they're able to slot in. And that's where, with someone like a Henry Pollock or a Ben Earl, I mean, if we're looking at the test team and you're looking at variety and options, it's a real string to their bow. So what a back row that is. And also, love to see Jack Morgan there. Tough time with Wales. He's such a good player. Like, he is box office. Sort of player that could end up starting for the Lions, despite the fact of a Welsh team that have been struggling so much. So is Thomas Williams. He's on the bench as well. Into the back line. Should we get into the backs? So Alex Mitchell and Finn Smith, 9 and 10, both have been there obviously. No Jamison Gibson-Park, there's been question marks about his fitness. But Alex Mitchell is there. Jack Van Portfleet has been called up and is training with the team. And then Finn Smith gets the nod at 10. I suppose Finn Russell was unlikely to ever play off the back of the Premiership final. He's probably been on the booze at the start of the week at least. Certainly kind of on Sunday and a little bit on Monday. And then Marcus Smith they've opted for at fullback. So I love the fact that Finn Smith gets the opportunity. I think he is top class. I think he was brilliant for England in the Six Nations. He's been really good for Northampton for a while. Right here, right now, I still expect Finn Russell to be the starting 10 in the test matches. But Finn Smith, Alex Mitchell, you've also got that Northampton combination as well. All right, let's do centres. I'll finish off on the back three. Into the centres. Bundee 12, Sione Tuipulotu 13. I know they are both more than just power carriers. In particular, Tuipulotu. He's got different elements to his game, but that is power in the centres. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm trying to think in terms of the other centres. You've got Hugh Jones, who could be an... I wonder whether they go with a Scottish combination. Like, to mention what I was just saying about Northampton and club teammates, whether you go with the Scottish combination or I suppose your other option is the Irish combination. But they've mixed it up. They've got power. You've also got some skill in there as well, don't get me wrong. No real kicking option, actually, which is where Marcus Smith probably becomes pretty important because the kicking options in the back line generally, actually, are maybe not the most formidable because with Duhan on one wing, again, that's power and pace, isn't it? But not so much in terms of your kicking game. Tommy Freeman, to be fair, does have a good high ball game, but isn't necessarily known as a kicker. And then you've got Marcus Smith, who does have a kicking game. So I just think the combination of how you're going to work that in terms of your kicking game, that is, yeah, just talking through it now, that's something that stands out to me. On the bench, Thomas Williams, brilliant in the Premiership, brilliant for Wales, love to see it. Elliot Daly and Mac Hansen. Again, it's versatility there, isn't it? Elliot Daly can kind of play outside centre, wing, fullback. Hansen can play, well, he's a winger, has played some fullback before. I guess Marcus Smith is your cover at 10 in this team. So there are different question marks there. And I think you can kind of make sense roughly what the plan is. We're going to get more of an idea when we actually see them play for the first time, which is one of the beautiful things about a Lions tour, isn't it? Is great names on paper. What's the game plan? What are they going to look like? And I think Andy Farrell has said words to that effect. So yeah, let me know what you think about the Lions. Let's go on to the Argentinian team. This is the squad that they've gone with. I'm not going to go through it absolutely name by name. I think the focus generally here for me is the Lions. But what I will say about Argentina is that is a strong team. And it's stronger than I expected. Despite the fact that Thomas Gallo, Juan Cruz Malia, Guido Petty are all absent. They're still playing with their clubs in the top 14. There's still strength there, isn't there? Like Julio Montoya comes straight in to captain the side. You've got Pablo Matera at 6, Juan Martin Gonzalez at 7. It's a pretty strong team. Rodrigo Isgro, which fans of the Premiership would have seen a lot more of him this year since he joined Harlequins. Santiago Carreras. So it's stronger than I expected. It is a funny game though, this, isn't it? Even like we say about the Lions, and it's the first time that we've seen them and we're not sure what to expect. You could say similar for Argentina. They haven't had much time to train together, really. It's not a capped game for them either. So you don't get a cap for Argentina for playing in this game. And I talk about some of the strength there and some of the quality and experience. There's also an element of inexperience on the bench. So it's Bautista Bernasconi, the Benetton hooker, will be making his debut. Boris Wenger, the loose head. I think he's a loose head. I've seen conflicting things online. Pretty sure he's a loose head. And in terms of where he's been named on the bench, then that would make sense. And then Simon Benitez Cruz, the scrum half. They're all uncapped. And that's maybe where I look at this Argentinian team. There's clearly some really good players in there. I just wonder whether it's going to come to the second half and the benches and the strength in depth that the Lions are able to bring off the bench is going to... There's going to be a pretty big disparity there between the two sides. But how much can this Argentinian team trouble the Lions? And I think clearly with some of the names there, they absolutely can. And I hope they do. I hope the Lions get pushed, because you need that in preparation for the Test series. And Argentina themselves are a bit of a funny team, aren't they? Like, we'll see them go away to the All Blacks in the Rugby Championship and win or push them really hard, and then we'll see them get beaten quite comfortably at home in a game you expect them to be more competitive, or even on their Northern tour at the end of the year, they'll have certain games you expect them to do better in than they actually do. So you're never quite sure with Argentina. I think this team does have the capability to trouble the Lions, and I hope they do. And the other thing is as well, it's a huge opportunity for both of these sides. Like, what an opportunity for those Lions players to go out, have the jersey for the first time on this tour, and put down a marker for the Test series, which we all know they're building towards. And then from Argentina, what an opportunity for those players to play against the Lions. The history of that jersey and this team and what it means, and they've got an opportunity to absolutely be a banana skin here. So yeah, let's see how it plays out. Those are my immediate thoughts on the two teams. Give me your thoughts in the comment section. Like the video as well. Hit that subscribe button. And I'm knackered, so I'm off to bed. I'll see you in the next one.